What's up, YouTube? I've been enjoying the summer, man. Fucking, I've been swimming. I've been meeting new people. I've been enjoying life. And of course, I've been hanging out with the squad. You feel me? You can't abandon your core close friends, even if you're meeting new people. So, this was probably 3 days ago. I was swimming outside, and I'm trying to chill. I'm trying to mind my own business. And I'm making this video for several reasons, and it's probably going to be a long one. Um, I wanted to start working at 6 o'clock, but to be perfectly honest, the universe is making it clear that somebody needs to make this type of video. It's called Relinquishing Control to Gain Control. Now, I always get accused of getting angry because people don't agree with me, or getting angry because people were not following orders, or just, you guys think I'm exaggerating because you guys just, y'all don't hang around people. And that is apparent by some of the shit that y'all type. There is a lot of people that have antisocial personality disorders. There's a lot of people walking around that have narcissism, psychopathy, sociopathy, and people that just have something wrong with their brains. I made that video where I showed the guy getting the brain scan for a reason. In modern society, a lot of mothers have fucked up reproductive systems. And we're not going to pretend like we don't know what's causing that, because some of you guys like to try to be coy. Some of you guys like to pretend like y'all are just living in this naive fairy tale and y'all don't know what's causing what. So we're not going to do that. A lot of children are just born with fucked up brains and bodies. Now, what a lot of these people will do, because what does the narcissist worship? The narcissist worships control. The psychopath worships control. Sociopaths are like 50-50. They're more on the YOLO-y side, but there's a lot of people in modern society, and Google says it's only 1 through 5%. I disagree entirely. I think there's no way in hell it's that low of a percentage, because a lot of these people don't get officially diagnosed in the first place, and a lot of these people don't get brain scans. My estimation, and maybe someday I can prove this to be right, my estimation is that it's anywhere as high as 25%, not 5%. I think at least a fourth of people walking around have some type of anti-personality disorder, antisocial personality disorder, or something just wrong with their brains that makes them worship control and being in charge of things, right? And these people will do something called projection. They'll accuse you of being angry when people don't agree with you, when that's them. These people will get online and they'll make little internet clicks, and if you go against their mob mentality, even if you're 100% right and they're 100% wrong, they will attack you just because you dared to challenge their authority, just because you dared to challenge their control. People accuse me of doing that, but I've got a couple of stories to share with y'all. So, one guy correctly pointed out that all life in the universe is connected. He pointed this out in one of my previous comments. All energy is connected because we're all one, okay? If you decide to use your free will to live in this universe, you have to understand that, like scientific theory is based off of natural law. I had a 3-hour debate where I proved this to the guy I was debating, because people got this misconception that you have esoteric, then you have exoteric, and then you have science in real life, when the three are all connected. Esoteric is connected to the exoteric is connected to actual science, because actual science is derived from natural law. It's derived from universal law. So all things in the universe are connected. If you want to understand science, you're going to have to understand natural law. And something that I always preach on my channel is universal law and natural law. And all natural law is, this is natural law. As human beings, well, actually, no, I'm already jumping the gun, okay? Will. All energy in the universe is a product of will, okay? Humans have free will. But everything else in the universe has will, right? Will is energy. The sun has will, the sun has energy. The sun has the strongest will in the solar system. That's why it's called the solar system. Because how do you say the sun in Latin? Sol, S-O-L. Solar system, a system that revolves around sol, solar, okay? The guy debated, he got angry when I directly broke words down like this, because when you skip all the, like when you just break down words based off of what they truthfully mean, you eliminate all theory and you eliminate all opinions. Narcissists and psychopaths and people that worship control, they don't like truth. They don't like opinions being eliminated. Okay? Because soul, or the solar system, because the sun has the strongest will, all the lesser wills revolve around it. Even you, for example, if you find yourself out into space, the sun, well, actually it's like a tug of war, right? If you're unfortunate enough to find yourself out into space, you kind of get juggled around by everything that has will, everything that has mass. So you got the earth right here, you got the moon right here, you got the sun right here, and you're kind of like stuck in the middle. That's why NASA actually has a policy that if an astronaut is like, he loses connection to the space shuttle and he starts floating away, don't help him, because at that point you're at the mercy of the universe. Now, of course, I have my own theory that it's possible for humans to survive the vacuum of space, but I'm not going to talk about that on video until I can damn near prove my theory to be true, because you guys know me, I don't like theories. My friends actually have an idea, but I'm not going to talk about that on video. Anyways, getting back to the point. So everything in the universe has will. And the strongest wills in the universe, all the lesser wills revolve around it. Okay? You even see this in modern society. When you observe the animal kingdom, the animals that have the strongest energies, the weaker animals either gravitate towards the strongest animals, kind of like a lion's pride or a lion's pack, where they avoid the stronger animals, you know, the predator-prey relationship. And in human society, it's the same shit. Most friends groups usually have one person that has the strongest energy. He may be the leader, even if he's not given orders. You know, I think my friends would acknowledge unbiasedly that I have the most dominant energy in the group. I'm pretty much the guy that made the group, and I'm pretty much the guy that keeps the group together. But make no fucking mistake, man. I don't give any, my friends will tell you, I don't give any of them orders. I don't tell any of them what to do. In the past, when everybody was kind of when they were getting their like feet wet, and they were like asking for advice or whatnot, they'll tell you that I didn't give them any orders. They'll tell you that my advice essentially was do what thou wilt. What do you want to do? Okay, then do it. Okay? And I'm going to explain why in this video. So, that's universal. That's why it's called universal law. See, the truth is consistent and reoccurring. Okay, and what is consistent and reoccurring is that the strongest wills are the most dominant energy in the universe. Now, fast forward to human beings. We're unique because unlike a sun, and unlike animals, and unlike insects, we have something called free will. You see, when you observe bacteria, they have will because they have the will to survive. Everything in the universe has a will to survive, from the suns to the trees to the moon and the stars, to humans to animals to insects to bacteria. The main goal is always survival. Okay? Bacteria survive by eating other bacteria and eating pathogens and all kinds of stuff, right? Blah, blah, blah. Humans are unique in that because we have free will, even though survival is still the main goal for those of us that are not insane, other things can become a priority. In fact, there's humans out there that will use their free will to end their survival. But humans are unique in that we have free will. Our goal is not just survival. Our goal is literally whatever we decide our goal to be. Now, because we have free will, it's interesting because we're really too intelligent for our own good, even the most retarded of humans. Because we have free will, we can use that free will to obsess over control, even though this is a direct violation of natural law. That's why one of the core principles of natural law is doing what the fuck you want. You attract what you are, guys. So look at this logically. You're born a free baby. You're born free, doing whatever the fuck you want, and you get natural results as a result of that, right? What do you think is going to happen if you abandon the core principles of what made you a human in the first place to start worshiping control and to start telling other people what the fuck to do? You begin to naturally attract what you are. If you become a control freak, you attract other control freaks, and then you begin to revert to one of the lesser life forms that worship control. Okay? Wolves fight each other when the alpha gets challenged, and wolves don't live but 5 to 10 years. Dogs fight each other, and even their masters, when they believe that their control is being challenged, and dogs don't live that long. Dogs live for like 10, 20 years. Versus when you observe shit like tortoises and shit that can live for hundreds of years, they ain't worrying about controlling nobody. They're just fucking chilling and eating their grass or whatever. The same thing applies to humans. Now, it's ironic because I used to be a correctional officer. I used to be in law enforcement, and at the time I didn't understand that you have to relinquish control to gain control. You have to do what thou wilt. But luckily, I only kept those jobs for as long as I needed to keep them to see what I needed to see, and then the universe got me out of there. My body didn't begin to evolve. Like, my vision didn't start to get better. I didn't start seeing, I talked about this in a previous video, but I didn't start seeing all the colors, and I didn't start seeing farther and farther. My body didn't physically begin to evolve until I gave up control. Around that time, I was dating a chick named Hope. I've mentioned her several times in my videos, and those of y'all that are from Pirate 101, y'all may have heard her in some of my older videos that I got privated right now. And she was the last girlfriend that I ever told what to do, because it's funny because one of my exes complained about this a very long time ago. She complained that it wasn't fair that I gave her free knowledge and that everybody else has to figure it out on their own. And to be honest, she was right. But nonetheless, Hope was the last person that I told what to do because, I figured it was to help her. And it's really sad because she kind of helped me get this ultimate breakthrough, even though she's probably never going to speak to me again. Because granted, when I decided to stop telling her what to do, that was the end of the relationship. Because you guys got to understand something. When you start dating a woman, how you are when she meets you, that's what she's attracted to. So as fucked up as it is to say, if a woman starts dating you because you're telling her what to do, because you're controlling her, that's why she's dating you. And if you change that, if you decide to tell her, do what thou wilt, just do what you want, use your free will, you've now become something that she's no longer attracted to, and that relationship is going to end. Okay? Even though I broke up with her, I could already I could already see that it was over. So, despite what I said, even though that relationship didn't end because she didn't like me anymore, I did some shit when we first started dating that she reminded me of damn near 2 years later, and I'm just like, damn, you still remember that, huh? And the whole reason she reminded me of that is because I was relinquishing control, and it confused her. And she's like, "Wait a minute, if you're relinquishing control, then why did you tell me this 2 years ago?" I forgot I fucking said that to her, right? And I'm just like, "Damn. Well, this is fucked." She's no matter what happens now, no matter what happens now, she's always gonna remember the past. So I just gotta let her go, right? And then she typed a whole essay. She was angry, but it's whatever, right? Had to do what I had to do. But that relationship made me realize you have to just relinquish control. You can't tell people what to do. You can't control another human being. You can control an animal, you can control insects and bacteria and other lesser life forms, but human beings are the life forms of free will. You gotta just let people do what thou wilt. That is the secret right there. I know it sounds like insanity, but my body only began to evolve when I finally realized this. And I've had a lot of fucking narcissists come at me these last couple of days, so I figured that this is the perfect time to make this video, right? I had a status on Instagram, and I may or may not show these screenshots. I even thought about posting it on my Instagram story, like just proof that you people were crazy, right? I posted a status on Instagram, and then a chick that follows me, who I don't even remember this chick. I don't remember following her. I didn't really know who the fuck she was, right? But we followed each other. So she saw my Instagram story. My Instagram story was, we should bring that Dan fellow along. Shout out to Dan, because me and my friends had plans for the end of August, and I was like, let's bring Dan along, right? So the chick commented on my story, and she said no. I'm like, okay. So I replied to her, I'm like, why not? And then she's like, fuck you, ho, I'm blocking you. I'm like, okay. And then after that happened, the shit, the screenshot I posted yesterday, after that happened, the dude fucking DM'd me asking me to unblock his friend. I said no, and then he proceeded to tell me about how the dude was simping, and then that's when y'all saw what happened with the screenshot. And it didn't end there, man. The dudes kept commenting on my shit, talking about, oh, you're gonna remove all of us because Daddy Frizzy gave you an order. I don't give people orders, man. I realized you gotta do what thou wilt. You gotta let people do what they want. That is the secret. And that combined with understanding, because that was what I was missing. And I only realized I was missing that because you guys know, man, I got into acting. I was doing acting for a couple of years, and he's probably never going to see this video, but shout out to Max. Max, he was my acting coach. This was the last time I ever went to Man for Knowledge, right? Because I was sitting around, I realized that there was something that I wasn't getting. I realized that there was a final piece of the puzzle that I wasn't connecting. So I'm like, okay, where can I go to find other lunatics that get it? Acting. So I got into acting. I met the guy Max. And Max's lesson in our classes were putting yourself in vulnerable positions, don't tense up, relinquish control. Just give up control, and then that's when you do your best acting. And I'm just thinking in my head, holy shit, this guy is a fucking genius. Wow. And then sure enough, man, now I stopped acting a while ago. I actually met somebody up in Towson who we did a job together. It was an interesting conversation, especially because I hate the guy's guts. But we ran into each other in Towson. He was with his friends or whatever. We had a conversation. It didn't seem like he was on drugs this time, so it wasn't that bad. He asked if I was on social media because he was trying to get my social media. He was trying to get my contact info, and I politely told him, nah, like I don't really like you that way. But shout out to him. But yeah, when I realized you have to relinquish control, when you just have to just let people do what they want, that's when my body began to evolve. Because this is all connected, guys. If you're an organism that's all about free will, you cannot contradict that by trying to control other people's free will. Truth is consistent and reoccurring, and all energy that you put out eventually returns to you. So let me repeat what the fuck I just said. You chose to be born into this world as a human being that has free will. You didn't choose to be born as an animal. You didn't choose to be born as a rock. You didn't choose to be born as one of these lesser organisms that only have will. Using your will, you chose to physically manifest as something that has free will. This is what we call a human being. If you contradict that by trying to control other people's free will, then the natural consequences will follow. Okay? If you're going to do what thou wilt, you can't tell other people not to do what thou wilt. And again, people fucking, they like to make up shit about me. They say that I worship control, that I don't like when people disagree with me, that I give people orders. Y'all can believe, what's the root word of belief? Lie. Y'all can believe whatever the fuck y'all want. I don't give a fuck, bro. I don't make these videos for y'all. I make these videos for the 10 or 20 people that actually get it. The other hundreds of y'all that watch my videos and don't learn, I could give a fuck less about y'all, to be blunt. I only care about the people that can get it. And, it's sad. It's something that I still think about because, like, all those chicks I dated before, I mean, they were doomed to fail because they put me in a position of power over them when I didn't have the final answer. They dated me because they liked me controlling them. They liked the free info I was giving them. They liked me telling them what to do with their lives. They liked being controlled. And it's unfortunate because I do wish I could tell them what I just told y'all now, but at the same time, if you're putting yourself in a position to where somebody else is controlling your free will, then you can never get it in the first place. There's one chick that I'm talking to right now. I want to get her to see that, but she's making it difficult for me to have that conversation with her. But, at the same time, this is why you always keep your options open, because there can be people that you really care about. And if they choose to walk a different path, you got to just let them walk that path. Don't argue with them. Don't yell at them. Don't get angry. They're human beings. Let them do what they want. And you do what you want. And you're eventually going to attract other people that are naturally compatible with your path. That's how it goes, man. I know it's hard, right? I know it's hard to just let people you care about just go down the path of destruction. I know, I get it. I've lost more people than all of y'all combined. Okay? Not necessarily because they're dead, but because I know that's the fate that's gonna await them. Even if they're still alive right now. And it's cool. Because you'll find by relinquishing control, you'll naturally attract other people that have strong free wills that will get it. Now, back to the story that I originally wanted to, but I had to give that 20-minute explanation. And you guys be bitching and moaning when I make short videos anyway, so here's a long video, so y'all can leave me alone now. This was like 3 days ago. I'm swimming in the pool, right? Because I like to swim before I go to work. I like to just feel the water because we're born in water, and I just like to surround my body with that good stuff. You heard me. So I'm trying to mind my business. There's a bunch of rugrats in the fucking pool. I'm trying to ignore them. And one of them he throws a beach ball at me. He's like, "You want to play volleyball, yo?" And I'm like, this kid is crazy, man. He just threw a fucking ball at a grown ass man, right? But whatever, I wasn't angry. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll entertain the Rugrats. So, boom, we're playing volley. We're playing. He was kind of cheating though because he was like running around the pool and I'm in the water, and it's much harder to maneuver in the water than it is. But he's a kid though, so I didn't really care. It's like whatever. I'll entertain the kid, right? So we're playing volleyball, and I don't know if this guy was his brother or his cousin or his friend or whatever, but the other kid who's slightly older, he's on like one of those floaties, right? He's floating, he's like using the floaty and he's not even on the deep end, right? So he asked me, so why don't you wear goggles? And I'm just like, oh no. What he asked was, hey man, can you buy us goggles? And I'm just like, you don't need goggles. Just do what I'm doing. Just swim underwater without goggles. Because I take my glasses off when I'm swimming because I can see perfectly fine without my glasses. I just like having Superman vision. And he was like, but wait a minute, doesn't that hurt your eyes to swim underwater? And I'm like, no, like as long as you take a shower afterwards and you wash the chlorine off, no, you can, because your eyes get, because we're born in water, guys. Like there's some fucking Nimrod called Bandit, right? He tried to bait me into an argument. Oh no, Frizzy, you don't believe that little cells are alive, do you? He was clearly talking about the abortion shit. And it's like, dude, when you're a fetus, you have gills so you can breathe the water inside your mom's stomach because you're fucking alive and you don't want to drown. But I mean, it's whatever. There's always the people that don't fucking know anything that try to argue with everything that you say. I mean, the dude, I'm not going to get into that, though. That's not really important for this conversation. But yeah, I was basically telling him, you don't need goggles. You don't need a floaty. So then I started just floating on my back like this in the water, looking at the cloud and the sun, right? I basically was telling the kid, relinquish control to gain control. Now, to my knowledge, because kids are very impressionable and they're kind of fearless, right? You know what this little kid did, bro? So keep in mind, I'm still playing volleyball with the other kid, right? And I noticed the dude, he ditched his floaty and he's like sneaking to the deep side, right? You know? Because I explained to him that we naturally float. As long as you relax, kind of like what Max taught me, right? As long as you relax and as long as you relinquish control, you naturally float. And I just started floating, right? He tried it initially, but he's holding his breath. So like he's trying to float, but he's stressing himself. He's floating like this. Like a blowfish, right? He's like and I'm like, bro, you're floating, but you're stressing. Just relax, man. You don't gotta hold your breath while you're floating. Just relax. Matter of fact, if it helps you, do like this a couple of times. And then I dived under the water and I floated back up, right? Because the thing is, man, even when you try to stay underwater, you still automatically float back up. Like, you actually have to be a trained professional to keep yourself underwater for any length of time, like a professional diver or whatever. Or just be a panicking fool that drowns himself, right? But he's edging it, right? He's gradually floating now without holding his breath. So I'm playing volleyball with the other kid, and this dude starts sneaking over to the deep end, right? So I'm volleyballing, and I'm just like, wow, this little 9-year-old kid, man. I'm not gonna say he was risking drowning because there's no risk. You literally cannot drown unless you start panicking. If you just relax and accept that by relinquishing control, you're in control, nothing's gonna happen to you. This little 9-year-old kid in the span of 30 minutes learns how to swim, even though there's adults that don't know how to fucking swim. And I'm just looking at this kid. I'm like, you're kind of crazy, dude, but good job. See, that wasn't that hard, right? And then he starts swimming back and forth. He's swimming underwater. He's looking at me underwater, right? Because we both go underwater, and he's waving at me, and I'm just like, see, you never needed goggles, right? And you know, I ended up playing with these kids so it took him 30 minutes, around 30 minutes to get to this point, which is fast. I mean, there's adults right now that go to Man for Knowledge, that pay expensive ass classes to learn how to fucking swim. And this little 9-year-old kid got it in 30 minutes with people get angry at me because I don't go into detail and I don't give scientific explanation, even though I could. But the thing is, man, that's not applicable to most people. Most people just want you to keep it simple. Like you give them a little bit of rope and then they pull themselves up. And that's what I did with the kid, man. I told him to relax and he'll naturally float. And I told him to just swim underwater with your eyes open. And then within 30 minutes, he's swimming, right? And after that happened, reality, I actually got angry, man. So I get out the pool. I tell those kids I gotta wash the chlorine out, and then I gotta go working, right? Oh, when's the next time you'll be coming back out? And I'm like, I don't know, man. It depends on my schedule, but we'll see each other again if we're supposed to. And because that's little kids for you, man. And it was sad. This is what made me angry because I'm happy that I helped those kids. And the one that learned how to swim, if he keeps his energy strong and doesn't let anybody negatively influence him into walking the dark path, he's going to go very far in life. Those kids thought I was 19 years old, right? When I told them that I'm 30, I saw it in their faces. They were like flabbergasted because at that point they realized that was something wrong. Okay? Why does this guy look 10, 11 years younger than he actually is? And this is a common thing I experience with people. A chick stopped talking to me because she thought I was lying about my age. She also thought I was, 18, 19. Then when I told her that I'm pretty much near double, well, not near double, double would be like 36. But I mean, yeah, when I told her that I'm near double that, she's like, you're lying. And I thought about taking a picture of my driver's license, obviously blurring out the important shit, but just showing like my date of birth. But then I realized there's no point. So why would people think I'm lying about my age, right? Because they've been taught since birth that just because your number increases, your body has to regress. Like, so as your number increases, you're supposed to start looking a certain way. But it's like, no, your number can increase and you can continue to look how you look in your prime. And the biggest eye opener for me was when I met a 60-year-old man that looks 20. Now, this individual, he's got some work on the internet. He took most of his shit down, but some of his work is still around if you can find it. And yeah, when I saw this dude still looked like he was 20, even though, well, actually no, because he was 60 when he wrote that book. The Gossip Squad knows what book I'm talking about, but when I saw how he looked and I saw that he looks 20 despite being over 60 years old, I'm just like, damn, so this is what it's all about, man. But kids are not stupid. At some point, a child will realize that their parents have failed them. Why can't my mom and dad swim? Why are my mom and dad 30, 40, 50 years old and they look like shit? But this 30-year-old man looks like he could be my older brother, right? Or like why does he look so young for his age and he's swimming and he knows all this stuff and my parents are useless? I even asked the fuckers, like, how come your parents aren't swimming with y'all? Do they not know how to swim? And then Both of the kids, they looked, I kid you not, they looked down on the ground, right? Because they were sad when I asked this question. They looked down on the ground and they said, no, not really. So, anyways, let me get back to the story because I had to give that little synopsis. So I get out the pool. I tell them I'm gonna go and wash the chlorine out of my hair, and I gotta go to work, and right. And it hit me, man. I got fucking angry, man, because I realized, where the fuck are the parents? Now, I didn't have malicious intent, and one of those kids learned how to swim because of me, but it's like, why are you leaving? Those kids were no older than 9 years. I mean, I know I said the little 9-year-old kid. I never actually asked their age, but during the conversation, he because I asked him if they play any sports, because while I was showing him how to swim, I was trying to like convert swimming to a sport that he already played, and I mean he plays soccer for fuck's sake, so he already has stamina, right? But from what he was saying, I could tell like he was still in elementary school. But it hit me, man. It's like, damn, these parents, they care so little about their kids that they're leaving their little fucking 9-year-old kids alone with strangers, right? Again, I didn't have malicious intent. I had positive intent, and the kid learned how to swim. So now that kid is going to learn to associate strangers with positive things. And this I'm getting angry just thinking about this shit, man. Because people try to argue with me, and they try to argue that most parents care about their kids, and it's like most parents don't, and it's sad. But kids at some point will realize that their parents have failed them. So what do kids do? Kids know that they're not old enough to learn everything by themselves. So what they do is they seek other people that's older than them who they believe are above their parents to learn stuff from. Those kids believe that I'm above their father, above their brother, above any male figure in their lives, right? This is why girls prefer to date older men. Because when it's working correctly, okay, a girl, a 15-year-old girl, she's going to learn from her father when it's working correctly. When it's not working correctly, when the natural order of things has been disrupted, a 15-year-old girl is going to seek other adult men to learn from. Okay? She's going to seek to learn from coaches. She's going to seek to learn from the captain of the football team. She's going to seek to learn from older men. And it's a gradual process, right? Okay, the 16-year-old boys don't know anything. The 18-year-old boys don't know anything. The 20-year-old boys don't know anything. The 25-year-old boys don't know anything. So they go older and older until they find a guy that they believe is capable of showing them the way. This is why, like, so many girls are fucked up nowadays, because it's not like the 1950s, man. Girls nowadays can go on the internet and find exactly what they're looking for. And they get fucked up because they quickly realize that, like, age is not the main determining factor. But kids don't know this, right? All they know is that nobody my age knows anything, so let me go higher. Let me find an older brother. Let me find a new father. Let me find a boyfriend that's older than me who can show me the way. And it's just, this whole situation made me angry, because even though I did a good thing, even though I showed a little kid how to swim, it just made me realize that we really do live in a world where nobody gives a fuck about their kids. Now, I did see those kids one more time the next day. And I said what's up to them, you know what I'm saying? One of the kids said that he was knocking on my door. I wasn't home though, right? And I said what's up to them. And before I left to go to work that day, I heard their mother outside. I opened my curtains and I got a look at their mother, and I thought about confronting that bitch. I thought about it. I thought about Man, I had to calm myself down though, man, because I realized what would have been the point. She wasn't gonna listen to me, and they're not my kids. They're not my family. It wasn't my place to say anything. So I'm getting in the car, and then one of the little kids runs over. Mr. Christopher, where are you going? Come play volleyball with us. And I'm like, sorry, man. I'm an adult. I got responsibilities. Maybe some other time, right? Oh, well, when's that going to be? I'm like, I don't know, man. But, if I see you around, I'll see you around. Man, this is really pissing me off. But let me finish this video. Little kids that don't have parents that know what they're doing, they're going to give another adult control over their situation because they know that they don't know. So they try to find and when you think about it, it's not illogical. It's not illogical because it makes sense. It's like, okay, as a little kid, you're taught that adults know things. So it's like, okay, if the closest adults to you, your parents, don't know anything, you go and find other adults to look for. So it's not illogical, but kids don't have any fears, man. They don't understand that most I'm not even gonna word it that way, man. We live in a predatory world. The main reason this is pissing me off so much, I made that video where I talked about how I encountered a wanted rapist for a reason. We live in a predatory world. Until your child is old enough to take care of himself, you have a natural responsibility as a parent to make sure no harm comes to your child. I would have gone to prison if I confronted that kid's mother that day, man. But whatever. Let me wrap this video up. And you got these stupid fucking red pillars on the internet that say real men don't get emotional. You need a balance of logic and emotion. I talk about that all the time in my videos. Little kids don't know anything. Hence why they give control to other people. Children that have been abandoned in the forest, in the deserts, etc., they give their control to the animals around them. There's many stories about animals taking care of children that have been abandoned by their parents. But at some point, guys, you have to realize something. You were born in this world alone. This is your path. This is your story. This is your free will. When you're old enough to know what free will is, when you're old enough to understand natural law, when you're old enough to understand you have to relinquish control to gain control, when you're old enough to realize you got to do what thou wilt and let other people do what thou wilt, that's when you begin to evolve. Physically, mentally, and your energy as well, or as the Orcaloids call it, spiritually. You only begin to grow stronger. You only begin to get to that next tier when you fully realize this. I've had many long conversations with the guy Jetty, because Jetty, shout out to him, I know he watches my videos still. Jetty is a guy that loves control. I would argue he worships control. Jetty, if you watch this video, man, I've told you this man to man. Try relinquishing control to gain control. But I'm not lecturing anybody. Y'all can watch this video, y'all can see it as insanity, or you can give it a try. To the Toontown people that continue to gossip about me and continue to lie and say stuff like I care about it, people agree with me, why are you following Daddy Frizzy's orders? I'm not angry at you guys. I'm angry at modern society. Because a lot of you guys need some help, man. A lot of you guys are born with mental impairments and just impairments in general that restrict your ability to learn. So, so this video is gonna make complete sense to the people that get it, who don't have damaged brains, who don't have damaged physiology, who don't just have things that restrict their ability to learn. I really do feel bad for you guys because you guys, right? It's impossible difficulty for men. It's beyond impossible difficulty for women. And it's even more impossible than that for people that were born with something wrong with them. But I know from going to the source, I know from observing nature. I met a guy named Steve, man. This dude had the worst autism I've ever seen, and I've watched this guy transform over the last 10 years. So even for you people that have something wrong with you, it's still not impossible, man. This is the longest video I've made in a while that isn't a stream. I think I've more than covered my points. Relinquish control to gain control, and I already know somebody's gonna say maybe I should show those kids these videos. It's not time for that yet, man. They gotta develop. Before my videos can even help those kids, they gotta develop their free will. And yeah, if this path is meant for them, you know, if I'm meant to run into those kids again, then, you know, if this path is meant for them, then it'll show. But if this path isn't meant for them, then hey, this made for a good video. I'll catch you guys in the next video, and please, Toontown people that have narcissism, psychopathy, sociopathy, Toontown people that worship control, that have mental impairments, that have fucked up brains, that have things that are just wrong with them, it's not. You guys can still use your free will to see what's really going on. I'm not going to make you. I don't give anybody orders. I don't tell anybody what to do. But even though I've said it's beyond impossible for you guys, it's not impossible. Catch you guys in the next video.